I hope you'll enjoy these delicacies. They'll surprise you. One bite is like a knife in the back.
Hello everyone, this is DDWitchstar1 here. Today you're looking at a transformed man. You know, they like to say sometimes you have problems, you go to prison, you come out a new person. No prison involved here, but a lot of work and effort. This is Graves Robertson, the Fat Butler animatronic by Gemmy, but how he should have been from the beginning. So, you guys have seen a couple prototypes on this channel of Graves, but with Produced, he has a lot of kind of very noteworthy features. He has virtually no neck to him at all. He has very outward protruding lips, and he just barely moves his mouth at all. So here's a standard Produced head. And a lot of him, the throat inside is kind of not glued in the best or deformed and stuff. And he just looks like a lobotomite kind of. But this guy is completely different from that. He has been completely transformed. And this is basically how he was supposed to be from the get-go if he was assembled properly. So a lot of changes took place. The lips were positioned differently to match the original picture of the clay sculpt with the mouth shut all the way. So the lips are a lot smaller, they protrude out a lot less, the mouth closes a lot more, the mouth moves a lot more, almost like the prototype ones, and a whole lot more to it. And a lot of work had to be done to make it look like this. This all came about when I believe it was the Haunted Wolf 12 posted a video of his Graves, and I was blown away by what he did, or didn't do, who knows, right? But his Graves, it still kind of looked like this, but the mouth shut more and just moved a whole lot more than normal. And it was so mesmerizing.
Care for something? I highly recommend you first ensure it has been properly prepared. Touch it and see if it moves.
And then the good old CJ Butler was informed of that. It was like, let me take a whirl at it. And that he did. So he made the face incredibly different, and it's truly astronomical. He de-warped the PVC throat. And for the longest time I thought, well, the reason the mouth movement sucks is because instead of just like a sculpted interior a little bit, there's a whole actual separate throat piece. No animatronics really have that, where they have the teeth, the tongue, and then an entire throat. So it's like, well, that's probably why the mouth doesn't ever move very well on this guy. But it turns out you can still use the throat and it moved very well. The big thing that changed here is there was a lot of excess throat part that was cut off in the front. Like it's like the throat itself had its own set of lips on the inside. And so that just made it really hard for the mouth to move much. And it also just made it all a little poofy, if you will. And his neck was extended because looking at him, you know, I looked at Alfred Hitchcock photos, I looked at just a lot of pictures of people. I looked at, like, Trump came to mind with just that kind of build. And it's like, even if the necks appear shorter with the suit collar, like, it just still looks unnaturally short. Like, on the head, they sculpted it where it was sculpted forward from the head plate, but then the body shell did not have the arch like a typical Butler body shell would. And it was a clever idea, but the execution just wasn't quite right. However, what CJ Butler did is he extended, I doubt you'll be able to see, he basically took the head plate out all the way up until the very edge, and then like adhered it there, and then he raised up the collar to cover that. And now his neck is longer and he just looks so much more natural. Like from the side, you can just see he looks more natural, like a human would. And that wasn't in the initial plans, but it ended up happening and it just turned out so great. Like the regular head would probably be down here, and you can see just how much of a difference that makes. Because with a lot of the heads, the neck is sculpted on longer, but with this, it just didn't really happen. But yeah, everything works great. It just all turned out very well. And now I will be demoing him. And one last thing that was changed is the pants were raised since this had to be raised. And so they don't kind of droop on the shoes as much as normal. But I think that just about covers it. It's quite the transformation. I'm sure if you hit him up for the right price, because it is a lot of manual labor, he might just transform your Graves head for you. But I don't know what that price would be, probably a little high, but here we go.
Good evening. I would offer you a refreshment, but I fear you might become suspicious. I say you are looking wonderful this evening, but then again, I say a lot of things.
The head also does not get stuck on the collar anymore, which happens with the produced style.
Care for something? I highly recommend you first ensure it has been properly prepared. Touch it and see if it moves. I hope you'll enjoy these delicacies. They'll surprise you. One bite is like a knife in the back. I do hope I'll not have to clean up after anybody tonight. And I do mean anybody. As I understand it, the master is indisposed at the moment. Please be patient, as it's quite difficult to dispose of certain things these days. Please, take one of my treats here. True, they are bad for your health. But then again, so is upsetting me. So good of you to come. We've begun to run short on friends around here, but you probably. Good evening. I would offer you a refreshment, but I fear you might become suspicious. I say you are looking wonderful this evening, but then again, I say a lot of things. Care for something? I highly recommend you first ensure it has been properly prepared. Touch it and see if it moves.
So yeah, that's Chad Graves, as some might say on the internet here. Just truly transformed. If he was made like this initially in production, I think people will love him even more. It's still a very iconic piece as it is, very well designed, good quality materials, the lines are great, the voice acting is great, but it always just felt like it was missing something. And now this is finally Graves in his peak form with the production parts. Some of you might still prefer the prototype build with the older body shell and the different sculpt, but this might just look a little more like Alfred Hitchcock and you might prefer it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'm happy that this turned out the way it did. Thanks for watching.